Welcome everybody to another edition of the best Cosmoteer tournament ever, the War for the Cosmos 160k edition tournament, and today we're gonna have 16 admirals pitting two of their best machines, 160,000 spacebucks limit, against each other to decide who the winner is of this tournament. And we had the lineup all set down, all ready to go. It was gonna be Zach versus Saya, and Zach apparently decided that 160k wasn't enough, so he put in an almost 300,000 spacebucks ship. And I was all ready to start recording this, and that happened. So yeah, I had to disqualify Zach. There was no way I could bump that ship down to 160k and put in a backup ship that I had for the 160k tournament precisely for this reason. So let's bump this down to half speed. There you go, and let's go. I don't want that camera. This is gonna be the Giggles versus Saya's V-Type, and you can already see what's going on here. Let's take a closer gander at the V-Type. Ooh, lots of lasers and shields, lots of power too. How about the Giggles? I put this ship in long ago. Looks like it's a butt goer. Yeah, they go in butt first and then rotate, and a couple of lasers, a couple of electro bolts, lots of armor, and some shields. I'm not sure who's gonna take this one, to be honest. I mean, the V-Type looks like it has a lot of really serious firepower, but the Giggles might just be more well-rounded all around. Not entirely sure. Look at these two duking it out. The V-Type seems to be hard on power, giggity, but the Giggles is kinda doing its thing, although it's not pointing all its guns at the V-Type. So yeah, maybe this is gonna be it for the Giggles. Let's bump this up to full speed and keep on seeing where this goes. Ooh, the Giggles is in trouble. The Giggles is in trouble, but the V-Type is also in trouble. Oh, they annihilated each other. Wait, we have a Giggles. The Giggles is still up. Both of these, okay, hold on. Let's see which bits and pieces here. We have the V-Type. Yeah, pretty much dead in the water here, and those two pieces of the V-Type are also dead in the water, so no command room there. The Giggles is just limping along, barely any crew left, but that is one for the Giggles. It really did disarm the V-Type. Well, that was a surprise. Restart, swap, and go. Let's see how this plays out again. Yeah, it looks like maybe the Giggles just has some more staying power, although I'm surprised that it actually managed to outmatch the V-Type there. I mean, the V-Type does have a lot more weapons bearing down on its opponent. Look at this. It's just, let's get in closer here. It's just like the Giggles can't get through those shields before long, but the V-Type maybe just runs out of power. Maybe that's it. Like, here she is already digging into the Giggles here with all 6 lasers. I really don't get how the Giggles could actually get this. Oh, there you go. And another tie. And again, we have one of the Giggles still up and running. Just barely made it out of there alive, so that's gonna be 1 for the Giggles. Well, 2, and that's the Giggles moving forward. Saya, thank you very much for participating. That was a really close call. Look at this. Look at this. Like, a couple more shots and the Giggles would have been out. That was actually really fun. Let's go on to the second round, or the second match. Second match of this tournament, we have Doge God with the Doge of War Invasion. It couldn't be that long a name. Against NSA's Cloud. Let's make him go at half speed and take a look at the ships. The Cloud is... wow, that is a lot of ammunition and a lot of power for 2 cannons. Everything at the front and just a wee bit of armor at the back and sides. What does the Doge of War have to say about this? A bunch of armor, a lot of shields, possibly more maneuverable than the Cloud. I am interested in seeing. Wow, the Cloud really takes a long time to get turned around. And thunk. Yep, we have a collision. I don't know, man. I don't know. 2 cannons against 1, 2, 3, 4 against 6 smaller cannons. I'm gonna put my money on the 6 smaller cannons. Yeah, that's one of the Clouds gone, and that is 2. Yep, that is one for Doge of War. For the Doge of War, let's restart, swap, and go. Best of 3 again. Let's bump this up to full speed and see how it goes. Yeah, like the Cloud, 2 large cannons isn't really that much firepower, especially when cannons are so freaking inaccurate. You're better off having more of them. Although I know that in more recent patches, the cannons were rebalanced, but we're still playing on the game version when the tournament started, because people submitted their ships based on testing for that particular game version, and that's another one for the Doge of War. So Doge God, congratulations, you move on to the second round. I'm gonna call it round. And NSA, thank you very much for participating. I can't even see. Yeah, you still have a bit of the Cloud there. Hope to see you again in the next edition of this tournament. Let's move on to our third bout of the day. Now here we have Taurek against Dire Ready. Let's make him go at half speed. Dire Ready has the Stingwing Mark 4C and the Stingwing Mark 4C6. Let's make him go slower because I want to take a look at these designs. The 4C6 is like all the cannons, but, well, not all the cannons, because it really does look good actually. And it has some smart armor placement and a few large and small cannons mixed in. Now the Mark 4C is more designed to deal with shields. Now this design right here, like the middle of the ship going outwards farther than the sides of the ship, is actually not too smart a move, because then what just happened starts happening, which is weapons on the side can't really bear down on their targets when they're kind of to the side of the ship. It's kind of hard to explain. Let's just see. Wow, we have 2 of the DCH Cosmo cruisers who are just 5 cannons and not a lot of armament to the sides, or armor to the sides, which is not a good idea when we're talking about battle royales here. Well, team deathmatch is probably the better description. But they did gang up on one of the Stingwings that is still kind of like, it doesn't really have a control room now, does it? And here we have it, the Cosmos Cruiser just bearing down on the Stingwing Mark 4C, and they get in the way of each other here. But that is a lot of cannons bearing down on the Stingwing. I don't think this is a very survivable scenario, especially when the Stingwing is focusing on a dead ship. It needs to be focusing on this Cosmos Cruiser, which is still up. The Stingwing is slowly but surely losing defenses and weaponry, and it has an exposed reactor core. And now it is dead. It still has... nope, not even functioning weaponry. I'm calling it for Taurek here. Let's yeah, this is one for Taurek. Let's make him restart swap and go. I said go. Yep, there you go. And see how it turns out. This was one for Taurek. I'm gonna say that was a stroke of luck. Because even though you might have a lot of armament bearing down on the front of your ship, if you leave your flanks this much exposed, like with this little armor, you're in for a bad day unless your opponent really focuses on the wrong opponent, which it is doing right now. It is doing it right now. And the Stingwing lost an entire section of itself there. And these shots are actually really digging into the armor here. These are some very accurate shots. Look at this, just going through that small little gap. The only weakness on the Stingwing at the time, and the DCH Cosmo Cruiser, or Cosmos Cruiser, takes the cake. Congratulations, Taurek. Diaretti, thank you very much for your submission. We're gonna be moving on to the next round now. Third match of the War for the Cosmos Cosmoteer Tournament 160k edition. We have Super Afro with the unnamed. He just threw this thing together like in a jiffy against Dino Blasters. Let's make him go maybe at half speed here. Dino Blasters has a couple of different designs. We have the dual sniper, and they are very beautiful designs, by the way. Lots of armor and two massive cannons on the dual sniper, and the taser laser with ion beams and electro bolts, the two weapon systems that I've given up. I am not even gonna try to remember what they're called. All very, very pretty designs and look like functional designs. The unnamed has a lot of firepower at the front and a well-protected command center there. And this is a smart move by Dino Blasters, pairing the ion cannons with electro bolts. Unfortunately, it did encounter a lot of resistance there, meaning a lot of cannons. And these are, in fact, a lot of cannons against two cannons. Oh, and that is a lot. Oh, God, that was so much ammo storage. I'm calling it for Super Afro. Let's restart swap and go. See if this takes a little bit of a turn. I'm not seeing it happen. I don't think Dino Blasters has enough DPS here. Like, they are smart designs, and I'm finding it really interesting to see just how much these smart designs, at least I think they're smart, are actually just pretty much trumped by just raw firepower. You need to set that balance between just strategy and brute force here. And indeed, Super Afro wins the second round, and that is it. Thank you very much for your submission, Dino Blasters, but we can't all win them. So Super Afro, congratulations, you move on to the next round. This time we're pitting Creeper Industry against Cool Rocco 101, the previous tournament's winner. I think it was the 500k, I don't know. Let's make him go. Both of them have a single design ship. Cool Rocco here with a wall of death and only ammo storage, ammo and energy storage. The next tournament I hold, I think I'm gonna make this not be a thing. Just because it results... I don't find it as interesting as having to manage actual production facilities. Now, however, it is valid for this tournament, and it still does require some special attention and special testing. However, that is a lot of cannons for Creeper Industries 0. Smartly put together little ship there, but unfortunately couldn't quite hold out. That's gonna be one for Cool Rocco. Let's restart swap and make him go. And if you've noticed, some of these ships start backwards for some reason. And I am not messing with that because they always start like in the same orientation in tournament mode. So that's something the applicants need to be aware of when submitting their ships. I am not touching this. Like I only touch the actual spacing between the ships, and that's only because sometimes the AI messes up and doesn't really aggro. Other than that, like, it is bare bones minimum tournament helper mode, if you get my drift. And Cool Rocco seems to have taken the best over Creeper Industry. That is indeed a lot of cannons, so congratulations, Cool Rocco. Creeper Industry, I'll catch you in the next tournament. In the meantime, Cool Rocco, you move on to the next round. And for this round, we have a couple of veterans of our tournaments, Highlander and Teg. Let's make them go. Highlander with a couple of different designs, the Spear Age and the Spear S. The Spear Age with just a couple of massive pain dishers here, and the Spear S with shields and shield killers. Smart options, smart alternatives there. Teg with the Starfarer, well-rounded ship there. Some electro bolts, some laser blasters, and a couple of heavy-duty cannons for that sweet pain dishing. Looks like a fairly balanced match so far. The Spear Age seems to have taken somewhat of a beating here, but nothing too serious. It lost one cannon. And the other Starfarer is getting flanked here, but only by electro. See, this is a problem when all of your armament is electro bolts. Electro bolts deal almost zero damage. You can see just how slow these things just whittle away at the enemy there. So unless these two ships are kind of in a formation together, which I think is a thing now in the latest patch, not entirely sure, they're not gonna be super effective. You might be better off just like rounding them out a little bit better. That's a lot of armor on the Spear S. It can actually take quite a significant beating. Although the armament on the Teg Starfarer, the armament on Teg Starfarer is also very heavily consistent on electro bolts, which isn't a bad thing. Like, those things can chew through shields in no time. If you put your money on shields instead of armor against the Starfarer, I'm guessing you're gonna have a really bad time. And that is it for the Spear S. The Spear Age, I do believe, is dead in the water. It lacks armament and the command center, so it is dead. One for the Starfarer. Let's restart swap and go see how this develops. One for the Starfarer. I was actually not entirely expecting that, but there you go. They seem to be a couple of pretty well balanced designs here getting pitted against each other. So maybe it's a coin toss who wins and who doesn't. This spear is getting pounded on both ends, so it should go down. Yeah, it is pretty much down. Again, dead in the water there. And now both Starfarers just concentrating on the Spear S. And it does have the control room at the front, so yeah, it's fairly easy-ish to chew up to the command center. Although if it was at the back, since it has less armor at the back, it might have been even easier to kill it at the back. So that's 2 for the Starfarer. Highlander, thank you very much for your submission. It was a great design. Teg, yours is 2, of course, so you move on to the next round. This time around, we have Solsol's Maggots V1 and V2 against the Alien Cruiser by Stout Gaming. Let's make them go. Let's take a look at the Alien Cruiser, a single design choice. Lots of electro bolts and 4 laser blasters. Straightforward ship there. Very straightforward. Okay, let's take a look at the Maggot V1. which is also 4 electro bolts and 4 laser blasters. Wow, what a coincidence. The Maggot V2 is just raw, unfocused ion beam emitter. Like, that's it. And 4 shields. Like, this thing is gonna be a bitch to take out, but it is slow. And since it's slow, it's gonna give time for the Maggot V1 to get into weapons range of their enemies and get pounded single-handedly, which is kind of a problem. The Maggot V2 might be a bit less maneuverable than it needs to be. Actually, that is a lot of armor for these piddly little thrusters here. It does maintain its ion beam, like it does, but since it has such sluggish maneuverability, it takes so long to aim and reposition. It really does give the enemy all the time it needs to take out the Maggot V1, and then it doesn't really dish out that much damage to begin with. Look at it. It's just trying desperately to position itself somewhere, and while it's doing it, the Maggot V1 is just getting pummeled to death here. I think that's gonna be, yeah, there's the killing blow. Now, both of these guys are gonna focus on the Maggot V2. Let's bump this up to twice the speed just until they get into weapons range. And now the Maggot V2 is actually bearing down on its opponents, and it is a persistent little bugger, but it's not gonna do that much damage. It's really not. You can see here it's chewing its way through armor and shields, and it's kind of spreading the damage around because that's what happens. Ships move around. These two ships are gonna they're gonna have a bit of a problem chewing through all this shield and armor, but I do think they are gonna do it before the Maggot V2 does any significant and permanent damage here. Let's just see how it plays out, but indeed that is a lot of electro bolts. There you go. Just chewing through those shields. Although the shields themselves are actually getting brought back up by the crew. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, but there you go. Eventually the AI is gonna do something like this. It's gonna go, I don't want to do this anymore, and expose a flank and get murdered in the process. There went 2 shield generators, yep, disarmed and with no command center. 1 for the alien cruiser by Stout Gaming. Let's restart swap and go. Let's just make him go a wee bit faster. I'm already getting lightheaded just from this little bit of commentary. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do all of these in one go. So tomorrow's Saturday, I'm gonna get a couple more fights in. I just want to have the whole first round of matches done and over with before I call it a day. And look at that. All that firepower just bearing down on the V1. Yeah, that's no bueno. The V2 is clearly the weakest link in the chain here. Look at that. It's doing its job. It's just that its job isn't really that good. Yeah, you can be really good at your job, but your job can still be kind of sucky. And there you go. Like, it only takes that single reactor core to throw this ship into complete disarray, and there it goes. Yep, it still, yeah, it still has a command center. I am not seeing fire extinguishers, so this reactor core is gonna go. The ship is just trying to maintain its distance. Hopefully the AI doesn't de-aggro, but it's just trying to maintain its distance while the fire slowly consumes this reactor core, which is gonna take out the control room, or at least set it on fire. But yeah, I'm calling it here. That's another one for the alien cruiser. Congratulations, Stout Gaming. Also, thank you very much for your submission, but unfortunately, that is it for you. Stout Gaming, we'll see you in the next round. And here we have 4 different ship designs. Nanoboy versus Mr. Electric 160. Nanoboy with the Seagull, which is just 2 ion beam emitters, no shields. Significant armor, okay. And oh no, Mr. Electric with the Seagull and Mr. Electric with the Gladiator, which is, this thing is very dangerous on a 2v2. It's actually more dangerous the more ships there are, but just a cannon broadsider against Nanoboy's WD Belgium, which is, wow, a really interesting ion beam emitter yeah, that. And the Invader V2, let's make him go right now. The Invader V2, which is just raw, unadulterated cannons. Cannon fire. Let's see who turns into cannon fodder. It is now targeting the Gladiator. Interested to see how this is gonna play out. The Gladiator isn't the most maneuverable ship in the bunch. The Invader is. Like, if you combine these two, that would be really awesome. The Invader V2 unfortunately had too much cannon storage for its own good. The Belgium, which I imagine would be the Belgium on account of its paint job, is dishing out some pain on the Gladiator, but it also has its flank exposed to the Seagull. All very interesting designs here. I am much enjoying this fight. I think this is gonna be it for the Belgium. Yeah, that's gonna tear it in two, maybe. It's just disarmed at this stage, and it's just a matter of time until the Gladiator and the Seagull actually do what they're designed to do, which is to kill ships. So that's gonna be one for Mr. Electric. Let's restart swap and make him go. And make him go just a wee bit faster. I want to see the Seagull, because it doesn't really look like it's doing that much. Maybe it is. These are very maneuverable ships. I approve of maneuverability. Like, Mr. Electric had to give up weapons and shields and armor in order to get these engines, these thrusters in here. But it does pay off, because ion beam emitters need to be nimble if they are to not do what the last ion emitter we saw was doing, which was just kind of hovering around the battle trying to position itself. Ooh, the Gladiator goes down. The Seagull is still up. I wonder what this entails. This might be it for the Seagull. This might actually be it. The Belgium is desperately trying to maintain its power being fed into the ion beam emitters. But it's still doing work. Like, if the Seagull had a shield, it might actually win this encounter. Doesn't quite seem like it's gonna be able to do much against the Belgium, unless of course the AI does something wacky. But there you go. The Seagull is out of armament, so I'm calling it for Nanoboy here. Let's see. There was a piece of ship around here, I think. No, that must have been destroyed, maybe? It might have been destroyed by now. All I'm seeing here is this, which is a piece of the Seagull. So yeah, I'm gonna call it for... No. 3, What the hell is going on here? Okay. Oh, it's still... it's still going. I was looking for this piece. Okay, yeah, but that's one for Nanoboys. So, next winner takes all. Restart swap and make them go. And let's just... yeah, let's... make this go a wee bit slower. All the cannon fire. Okay. Oh, so Nanoboy's Invader just went down. And the Belgium is pitted against the Gladiator and the Seagull. The Gladiator does not have a command room, so it is pretty much dead, but it's still a very dangerous piece of debris. Interesting, because the Seagull is still up, and the, what's it called? The Belgium is still aiming at the Gladiator. The Seagull is trying to position itself in a weird position here, because it would have the Gladiator between it and the Belgium. This is a very confusing and strange match. Oh yeah, the Belgium is down. The Belgium's down. Oh, it has an FTL drive there. Okay then, well, that's still another one for Mr. Electric 160, so you take the cake. Nanoboy 458, thank you very much for playing. Mr. Electric, you move on to the next round. Still going strong, I can do this, my voice can do this, still going strong. War for the Cosmos, Cosmoteer Tournament, 160k edition, we have Doge of War. Yeah, Doge of War invasion against the Giggles. Let's go. Let's take another look. Let's just remember ourselves what the Doge of War invasion is. 6 cannons. The Giggles is gonna have trouble against that. I do not remember designing this thing, to be honest. I just know it's within budget and I did it. So it would be in this tournament. Oh my god, what a pummeling the Giggles takes. This Giggles is still alive somehow. Still, yeah, not for long apparently, but she fights till the end. I'll give her that. I'll give her that. The Doge of War doesn't really care that she fights to the end. It's just like, screw it. I'm just gonna pick off scrap from the battlefield. One for the Doge of War. Let's restart swap and go. And go a little faster. And go a little slower. And let's try not to make love tonight because we have a tournament to run. Wow, that is a lot of fire from the firepower from the Doge of War. Look at that. It just chews straight through the Giggles there. It's just, it comes a point when it's not even funny anymore. I don't think we've reached it. I still think it is funny, but wow, that's just cannon superiority at its finest, and smart armor placement. And thrusters. Doge of War, you move on to the second round. The Giggles isn't laughing anymore. Well, not the second round. The third round? Yeah, kind of like that. Move on to the next round. For the next match, we have Taurex DCH Cosmos Cruiser versus Super Afro's Unnamed. The Cosmos Cruiser, as we remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cannons and 2 electro bolts versus the Unnamed by Super Afro, which is just 6 straight up cannons and a couple of shields there. I am hearing a lot of shields go vomp and thump. It's Super Afro's shields. Probably some smart crew management there. They are bringing those shields up very fast. If indeed all that noise was from the Unnamed, they're still going at it. Wow. this Cosmos cruiser apparently decided to ignore this particular unnamed, which is down to 1 cannon. I wonder what the AI is attempting to achieve there. We have 1 unnamed down and another one severely maimed. This unnamed is wow. It is down to 1 cannon. Lots of armor and still some shielding though, but I'm not seeing it survive 2 Cosmos cruisers, DCH Cosmos cruisers, just pummeling it into oblivion, unless those Cosmos cruisers decide, we don't care about you anymore. But indeed, the unnamed is disarmed. Both of them are, so I'm calling it for Taurek. Let's restart swap and go. And make him go faster in this earlier bit of the battle. And it's interesting because it does look like the unnamed has more cannons at the front, doesn't it? Like that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cannons. Maybe it's the electro bolts that are just negating the unnamed shields. Yep, interesting. 2 electro bolts, I do think, solved this fight for Taurek. Super Afro, thank you very much for your submission. This was an interesting fight indeed. I'm wondering if the unnamed had a couple of electro bolts in there, if things wouldn't have taken a different turn. But in the meantime, Taurek, congratulations, you move on to the next round. And so we reach a pivotal point, Cool Rocco 101's damage versus Teg's Starfarer. Let's make him go. Maybe Teg's Starfarer can reach the damage before they can actually turn and bear arms onto their opponents. Maybe. It's just... how is this gonna play out? There goes just an absolute hail of cannon fire onto both the Starfarers, which are doing their best to take out the damage here, but that is indeed a lot of cannons. That is a lot of cannons. One of the Starfarers seems to be down-ish. Yeah, it's dead. This one's dead. And this one's about to die, I'm betting. Maybe not. I'm still hearing some cannons shooting. I wonder if this Starfarer can actually... No, it gave its flank to that little bit. Well, maybe, just maybe, it's gonna survive this. These cannons seem to be out of juice. Yeah, they are completely out of juice. This Starfarer is just keeping on giving. I am not seeing... there they are. Fire extinguishers. Yes, indeed. Okay, so the Starfarer... Yeah, this little bit is dead. That little bit is dead. I wonder... This little bit still has some ammunition, so the Starfarer needs to take out those ammo caches. And indeed... Oh dear, the Starfarer is getting a little bit of a pummeling there, but it looks like it survived that one too, and these little bits of the damage are down for the count. Not quite so with these two, but still I'm calling it for the Starfarer, which now is gonna bear arms on that little bit. If I just speed this up, we can see it take out that little bit. Wow, it is really just shooting at every little bit and piece of the damage. Of the dead damages, isn't it? I wonder if it's gonna hit that little bit of... Well, it killed the cannon. and retained all its capabilities. Alright, that's one for Tag. Let's restart swap and go. And like I said before, getting your ships in the right orientation with the tournament helper is your thing. I do not know what you think is your correct orientation, what you consider it to be, because some ships fly ass first into battle and then turn around. That's like, I am not even gonna mess with that. So that's just tournament settings and how the ships are spawned. It is your responsibility to test that out. Now, that having been said, the damage is still extremely dangerous, even when it's like all chopped up into little pieces, because as we know, the conditions for victory are disarming your opponent while retaining command, flight, and shooting capabilities. I don't like saying shooting capabilities when I say command and flight. That sounds all tactical. Yeah, that's the extension of my tactical speech. Now, we do have, again, one of the Starfarers just cored, and another one just going haywire, shooting at every little last bit of scrap metal still on the battlefield. But it does look like this is gonna be another one for the Starfarer, unless these can. No, that's not enough cannons to actually take it down. So yeah, there's still. Oh no, that's a Starfarer too. I am calling it for Tech Starfarer. Cool Rocco, your design was really very strong, but it couldn't quite keep up with the demands of this tournament. So we'll see you in the next tournament, and Tag, we'll see you in the next round. And for our last match of the quarterfinals, we have Mr. Electric 160 with the Gladiator and the Seagull, let's make him go, against Stout Gaming's Alien Cruiser. The Alien Cruiser is a single design that's 4 electro bolts and 4 laser blasters with a lot of armor. Looks like both of them are focusing on the Gladiator, while the Seagull is gonna stay hovering around in the sidelines. Now, like I said, I don't think the Seagull is much of a help for the Gladiator. If we were talking about 2 Gladiators, I think Mr. Electric would have a much better time there. I do think so. That is, the Gladiator has just more firepower than the Seagull, and actually more strategic value. Like, look at the Seagull. It's just like, ugh. While this poor Gladiator is indeed true to its name, just taking a freaking beating. I think it's already lost its command center. It probably did, yeah. But it's just, cannons just keep on firing, and they are still dishing out some serious hurt there, while the Seagull just hovers around and kind of uses its pea shooters to try and poke somebody's eye out, but it really doesn't quite cut it. Now, does it? In the meantime, this Alien Cruiser just got gutted by what is essentially a dead ship, but there you go, dead ships can still be dangerous ships. Those crew members are really like, they're red shirts here, but they are really valiant red shirts. They just, even if they're just a lone cannon floating in space, they keep on pumping out that hurt like it's nobody's business. Now, this Alien Cruiser is having actual trouble getting up to weapons range on the Seagull, which means the Seagull can actually take this one home. Like, in this particular instance, I'll give it to you, I'll grant you that the Seagull is probably gonna kill this ship, because those thrusters 1v1, they can maintain their distance. They can keep the ship away from nasty little laser blasters like these. Although they just can't quite cut through shields now, can they? But yeah, they just... they can just do that. Now, the Seagull can decide to start attacking this thing and turn its flank on what remains of the alien cruiser, which, although it has no command center, it can still get a draw out of this, like a tie. Let's see what the Seagull does, because it still needs to actually disarm this ship. I am curious. Let's focus on the Seagull, see if it starts getting shot by any number of small little debris that are floating around the map. Oh my god, this is just painfully slow to watch. It's like it kills its enemies by chance. But there you go. I'm giving it up to Mr. Electric, and now I need to see if this is actually the second or first round it wins. Yep, indeed, that was one for Mr. Electric. Let's restart, swap, and go. After a while, some of these matches just start blending into each other, so I lost count there. I wasn't sure if that was the second round or not. My brain isn't what it used to be. Granted, it was never that good to begin with. Now, here we have the Gladiator getting pummeled. Both these ships, there must be something in the AI that makes them focus on maybe the ship that has more weapons? Maybe? Because they do tend to focus on the Gladiator a lot, which means they expose their flank to the Seagull, which all in all isn't as dangerous as if they exposed their flanks to the actual Gladiator. And there goes the Gladiator's command room. Maybe not the best placement for it. Oh god, look at those volleys. Look at those volleys. If the Gladiator wasn't drifting like that, it might have even taken out this alien cruiser just on account of those repeating volleys there. Now we have, is this alien cruiser dead? I'm wondering, does it have, it has a oh, it has no thrusters. That is a problem. That is an actual problem. This alien cruiser is dead. And now the Seagull is just gonna move in for the kill. Wow, this alien cruiser was actually, was it? It must have been fires that took it out. From those last couple of dangerous volleys from the dead Gladiator. But yeah, I'm gonna call it, even though there's a couple of lasers right there, a couple of laser blasters. So this ship, this cruiser, is going up in flames in no time. I might as well just watch it through. I want to see it get murdered. Because technically, can these weapons even shoot? Well, doesn't really matter now, does it? But there are a couple of weapons here that still might have a couple of shots in them. Just maybe. Just maybe. I want to see, yeah, the AI should focus on them. Yeah, and it takes them out willy-nilly. Let's just see. Yeah, no way is that thing gonna take out the Seagull, so I'm calling it for Mr. Electric. Stop Gaming, thank you very much for your submission. Mr. Electric, you move on to the next round. What the hell, I can do one more. Tarek versus Doge God. Let's go. Tarek with the DCH Cosmos Cruiser. Doge God with the Doge of War Invasion. 6 cannons. Oh my god, look at that. It's just upside down hail. 6 cannons versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cannons and 2 electro bolts. An alpha strike from 6 cannons can actually decide the fate of a match. Here we have one Doge of War is already in serious trouble, if not dead. if not dead. This thing still has a command center and a thruster, but it doesn't look like it's doing much now, does it? That's strange. Crew members scurrying off to try to put out a fire. Too late. And now this Doge of War is actually getting pinned down between two Cosmos cruisers. Wow. It still has a lot of armor, so its only weak points are really either straight up the front or straight up the back. But it does look like it lost this one. It does look like it did. Yep, disarmed, just cored, and two Cosmos cruisers still up and running. That's gonna be one for Taurek. Restart, swap, and go. Let's see how it goes in the second match, because sometimes these things, or the second round, sometimes these things just come down to sheer luck, like how the ships end up in relation to each other. Then one ship ends up being severely flanked when it's actually a more capable design. Like there's a lot to this. You could write books about this sort of stuff. Books, I tell you, thesis. TCI? What's the plural of thesis? I am not smart enough to figure that out right now, but in the meantime, we have a Cosmos cruiser just ugh, and the Doge of War just meh. It's I think this isn't gonna be one for the Cosmos cruiser. Or maybe, if that shield holds, because behind that shield, we know what Murphy's Law is, and this reactor core is gonna go down. But, oh dear, yeah, it actually took out that last cannon on the Doge of War. It still has to negotiate this carcass, which is out of thrusters and command center, but it still has a couple of very much functioning cannons and shields. So this Cosmos cruiser needs to be able to actually get rid of that. Yep, indeed it does. There's still a fire extinguisher, but not enough. These cannons... Oh my god, this cannon still has a shot in it. This cannon still has a shot in it. I am not entirely convinced it's gonna be able to fire it. Yep, there you go. That's another one for Taurek. Doge God, thank you very much for participating. Your design was really interesting. And for those of you wondering, yes, Doge is the correct pronunciation of Doge. It's not dog, it's not doggy or dodgy, or it's not. Just Taurek wins this match. Doge of War, thank you very much. Doge, not Doge, not Doge, Doge. Ladies and gentlemen, the last match of the semifinals for the War for the Cosmos Cosmoteer Tournament's 160k edition is gonna be two of my favorite submitters so far, Mr. Electric 160 and Teg. Let's make them go, and I'll record the finals tomorrow, Saturday. So hopefully by Sunday-ish, you're gonna have this video up. Mr. Electric 160 with the Gladiator. I've been I've not been kind to the Seagull, but the fact of the matter is that it has actually resolved the last couple of matches for Mr. Electric here. And look at this, it is just pounding the stern of this particular Starfarer, while both Starfarers are just focusing on the Gladiator. Look at this, just two lines. Although the Starfarer is so nimble that only with these thrusters it can still move around so easily. It's just uncanny. But there you go, it does go up in flames. Now the Seagull does need to negotiate this particular Starfarer that still has a lot of firepower. So if the Seagull doesn't really manage, there you go. Now it's putting some distance between itself and this Starfarer. There are still a couple of wrecks down there. Oh dear, the Seagull. Oh, the Seagull is in trouble, isn't it? Wow, how did that happen? How did the Starfarer actually manage to get so close to the Seagull? Now it's just a matter of, yep, I'm gonna call it for the Starfarer here. Although there were still, yeah, this Gladiator still has, it only has a couple of weapons, but I'm still gonna pick up that Starfarer and tell it, go there. Just because. Yeah, like this isn't even funny anymore. Let's tell you, actually, no, I'm calling it for the Starfarer. Like, those two piddly little cannons are not gonna make a difference. One for tag. Mr. Electric loses the first round. Let's restart swap and make him go. Let's see how this turns out in the second round. If the Gladiator had more cannons still functional, I would have gotten the Starfarer to see if it could take it out, but at this point, there was really not much of a point. Like, only the two front cannons were still up, and the Starfarer was still in fairly good shape. So this time, the Seagull wasn't quite enough, and maybe it was because the Starfarer is just so nimble. But would you look at that, this time around, this time around it looks like the Seagull actually managed to, yeah, it looks like the flanks are more vulnerable on the Starfarer than the actual backside, which was where the Seagull was aiming on the first round. So now, both Starfarers are completely disarmed. That's gonna be one for Mr. Electric. Let's restart swap and go. Next winner takes the cake. This is what I like seeing. These are two interesting designs, and it shows. One wins the first round, the other one wins the second round. Who's gonna win the third round and go to the finals? It's gonna be an interesting watch. The Gladiator is nimble. It is actually nimble. Well, nimble enough. Like, when the two Starfarers just gang up on it like that, they can just maintain that fire rate. It is really very dangerous. Look at that. And actually, the Gladiator isn't brute. It's not a brute. It's a delicate machine. It's smartly engineered, let's put it. Like, the cannon ammo is there at the center, as well protected as possible. Yeah, pretty well protected. Now we're gonna see if this Starfarer, ooh, it looks like its shields are down. Well, now they went back up. Will it be able to actually reach the Seagull? It's trying to get close, but the Seagull does have all its thrusters still in place. It does manage, ooh, it is managing to slowly get closer. Look at that. It's already putting some hurt on some of the thrusters there, but it's wiggling around. Maybe the Seagull's ion beam emitters can actually puncture this shield if both of them are reaching it. Yep. There. Oh my God! Would you look at how fast that shield was replenished? It was almost instantly. Like, that is smart shield and reactor placement right there, and just straight up crew management. Indeed. Now, there are a lot of fires here, and one of the ion beam emitters just went up in flames on the Seagull. One more might not be enough to deal with this threat. And in the meantime, I do think the Starfarer might get closer, or close enough to pop off a few shots. Oh, the Starfarer went down to its guts. It fought valiantly, but in the end, this Seagull managed to take the cake. Wow! That was, and there isn't even a fire extinguisher on board. If that explosion had caused a fire, that would have been it. It would have been another tie. Well, Mr. Electric 160, congratulations. Tag, that was awesome. Your design was awesome, but in the end it went down to the wire and Mr. Electric made its way to the finals. Congratulations, on to the next round. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the grand final of the War for the Cosmos Cosmoteer Tournament 160K edition. We have THENRL with the DCH Cosmos Cruiser, 2 ships of the same design, and Mr. Electric 160 with the already known Seagull and Gladiator. Let's make him go. Murder each other, please. This is your time. Let's see if Mr. Electric's again, both of those ships focusing on the Gladiator, while the Seagull goes on the flank and starts putting some hurt there. The Gladiator is already in trouble. Lots of fires on the ammo caches, the ammo storage themselves. Ooh dear, that is boom. Ooh god, just wrecked. Wrecked by the Cosmos Cruiser. That is one hurt Gladiator. And here we have this cruiser already torn to shreds by the Seagull. If the Seagull manages to get away from the second Cosmos Cruiser, oh dear, that is, the Seagull does not have fire extinguishers. It is going up in flames, and this is gonna be the first one for the Cosmos Cruiser. I'm pretty sure that is a lot of fire. And there goes the ion beam emitter, getting hit by some cannon fire here. There goes the actual, reactor core. And that is one dead Seagull, even though it still has a bridge. It doesn't have much of anything else. And one very much alive Cosmos Cruiser. So that's one for THENRL. Let's restart swap and go. That was... Yeah, the Cosmos Cruiser does have that is 5 cannons and 2 electro bolts. I remembered the thing. I know things. 5 cannons and 2 electro bolts versus 5 cannons at a time. See, this is one of the disadvantages of broadsiders. It's that they don't have all their weapons aimed at the same spot. Like they're not discharging the entirety of their armament at the same time. Which is good for some things, but for others not as much. Now, here we have the Seagull getting very heavily hit, and already this is, I am going to go with the major design flaw here, Mr. Electric. If the Seagull had 1 fire extinguisher, it would have like double its survivability. Right now, luckily, no more fire, so the Seagull is still very much alive, and we have 1 functional Cosmos Cruiser desperately trying to get up to the Seagull, get in firing range, and I think this is gonna be one for the Cosmos Cruiser. I think we've just witnessed the entirety of the finals right here. Like, there's not enough crew. We did have some crew members die on the Seagull, so there's not enough crew to actually get that ion beam to fire continuously in order to bring down those shields. So that's not gonna be enough. Eventually, one of these cannons is gonna get in range. Yeah, the Cosmos Cruiser is trying to get closer, and the Seagull is trying to get farther away, so we are... Wow, that was one lucky shot straight into the ion beam emitter. So this is like just on the very edge of the cannon fire's capabilities, like a maximum range. So we're gonna see a couple of cannon shots getting fired off here and there until they hit something vital. This is gonna be 2 for THENRL. Oh, we're seeing the death of the Seagull right now. A fire has broken out here. 1 cannon shot went straight through this thruster and ended up causing a fire here. And that's it. The Seagull is dead. This is how important it is to have fire extinguishers on board. One shot obliterated this this ship. Now, maybe actually, it might actually be possible that the parts on fire actually explode and the fire doesn't spread. That might be a thing, although I'm not entirely convinced. But right now we are seeing a lot more fires. Yeah, indeed, that is possible. All those parts exploded and the fire did not spread. Let's see what happens here. Yep, that one didn't spread either, but now we have another fire raging, and it's gonna hit this thruster. As soon as this thruster goes out, my guess is the Seagull isn't gonna be able to maintain its backwards momentum, and it's gonna start really losing this battle. Yeah, right now this thruster is gone, and now we should see the Cosmos cruiser managing to get in range. Yep, there we have it. Seagull is disarmed. This ship is a goner. Mr. Electric 160, loved your designs. I'm really disappointed that there isn't a freaking fire extinguisher in this thing. Like, come on, get rid of a block, a chunk of armor in one of these places and shove a fire extinguisher there. You're quite aware of the hard choices that need to be made, and you made plenty of them, in regards to thrusters mostly, but don't neglect the fire extinguishers. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 160k edition of the War for the Cosmos Cosmoteer tournament. Our semi-finalists are Doge God with the Doge of War Invasion, a very capable little vessel, that one, and Tag with the Starfarer. Both of them went in with a single design for both ships. But eventually they were bested both by Mr. Electric with the Seagull and the Gladiator, who only lost to Taurek with the DCH Cosmos Cruiser. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this tournament. Only one more to go. That would be the 60k tournament, which I think is now finally closed. Hopefully everyone paid attention to the actual budget limit and hasn't submitted a ship well over twice the budget limit. But we're gonna see. We'll see how it goes, and I'll think of something if we get to it. Thank you very much for watching again. Click the like button if you liked the video. Click the dislike button if you disliked it, and please share your comments down below. I'll see you next time.